And welcome back to the 12th episode of the Oh You Didn't Know Wrestling show. I am your 12th favorite podcast co-host, John Fisher, alongside the 12th tallest man in China, Brad Shepard. What an oxymoron that would be. How you
I'm
doing?
also I'm huge in Japan as well.
uh, so I could say, instead of 5 stars, you'd be 12 because this is our 12th episode. I feel like that'd be fair. 12
Yeah,
stars?
that's kind of like a Kenny Omega best out of 69 falls match or something. That would
That
probably be like 12 and a half stars
that match would go on for months.
minimum. Yeah, I mean, if not longer.
How many people do you feel would stay for the whole thing and not leave the Tokyo Dome?
Oh, there would for sure be tens of thousands of marks that would watch that. I mean, there's some of them they don't shower anyway, so like that
Ouch.
wouldn't be a factor. So.
I mean, at least he could draw tens of thousands of people, right?
Well, yeah, I mean that would be one person who could do that. Now Becky Lynch, that's a different story, but we'll get to that.
No. The attendance tonight. Where were they? Do you know where they were?
I don't know where they were, pal. I just make the towns.
I know they had over 10,000 people tonight at SmackDown. That is a fact already announced by the arena. So it sucks to be you, but
I don't.
they
think
did.
So.
No, they did.
No.
You can check.
No.
You can check. You can check. That's fine. It's not hard to fill a 10,000. Like if it's not hard to get 10,000 people in an 18,000 seat arena. It isn't hard. It really isn't. I mean, even during the New Year's show, they had over 10,000 people, and that was a holiday. For Christ's sake, it's not hard. She did it then. She's doing it now. But so you can follow me at John Fisher TV on Twitter and Brad at the Brad Shepard on Twitter, as well as, if not less importantly so, we are on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher for all your mobile platforms. Son of a I'm watching. Okay, so long story short, I'm watching the Pitt basketball game. I didn't even watch the second half of SmackDown. Full disclosure: Pitt basketball takes precedence. They're on a decent roll this season, 12-6, much better than the last two conference seasons, not winning a game. So their three freshmen are really hitting it hard. They're going to be a fringe tournament team this year.
Yeah, I have to make a confession here.
Do you not like basketball?
God, I'm a big sports guy. I played basketball growing up. I like basketball a lot, actually. So no, that's not it.
Oh,
what I don't like is college sports.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not a big college sports guy. Like I want the big leagues.
You're the outlier in that one. I know you love outliers. You are the outlier there. It's easy to argue, very easy to argue, that college sports is becoming more entertaining and fair because of how awful professional sport referees are, most notably in the National Football League.
Well, I mean, I think, the referees certainly are partly to blame, but let's be honest here. The majority of the issue is not the referees, it's the rules.
That too.
It's the rules that have to be fixed.
That too.
Why can't you challenge a no call that's a pass interference call?
You can't.
I know. Why not?
I don't know.
If that's an issue, you're talking about a high-profile game. Why not allow 2 or 3 challenges a game and anything is on the table as far as what can be challenged? A call, no call, anything. Bill Belichick has tried to get that to happen for years, and there doesn't seem to be any interest in letting that happen.
I can argue with anyone that, and I love the NFL and I love the NBA almost equally. I could argue with anyone that a good high priority bowl game in college football is more entertaining than the AFC and NFC championship. And the March Madness tournament is more exciting than the NBA finals. There is definitely an argument there. And on top of that, we're all seeing the records being broken for money, like revenue coming in. This isn't a pro sports podcast, by the way, but we have to get this in. The national title game doesn't do as well as Super Bowl, but damn it, is it becoming close.
Well, I got to tell you, John, approximately 59 million people watched the AFC Championship game, the second most of all time. It's super popular. It's just far more compelling to me. I'm bored by the college bowl games and the playoffs and college football. It's great. You see a bunch of like teenage college kids playing football, and that's fantastic. But I'll stick to the guys who are like the best of the best and watching them play.
Well, you are watching the best of the best play just a year before they go to the pros, right?
Some of them.
Some of
And
them.
then some of them are going on to their jobs where they got their degree.
Like watching Saquon Barkley with Penn State was exhilarating because he's one of the best right now. So I think that, we'll get to that. We'll text about it at some point. As far as wrestling, there was something really big that happened this week, and it's not in breaking news, and it can't wait until we get to SmackDown because it happened on SmackDown. You want to know what happened?
I'm presuming you're going to tell us.
I am. I'm going to tell you. Kids at home should have already figured it out. Becky Lynch agreed with you on something.
Well, that's a first.
Do you know what that is?
I don't know what it is.
You don't know?
Oh, did she admit that she's not the man?
Oh, no. Well, she is, and you're just too blind to admit it. What she admitted is that Asuka, what were her words? Asuka's not even that good. You two agreed on something. It's a start.
Yeah. Well, I have to say she's right.
Aha! See, it only took 2 months. It only took 2 months. But I had to get that out there because you talk trash every week, and you and Becky are on the same terms now.
Well, even the sun shines in a dog's ass once in a while, and she finally said something I agree with. That's great. Look, maybe she'll turn over a new leaf and realize, she's destined to be upper mid card, and she'll just give up on the idea of being the man. I think that would be totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to everyone, just like, just how relevant Baron Corbin is as his football team that he supports. Neither are relevant anymore. It's a damn shame. And why does he wear? Okay, so since you have such a deep pulse on what the creators and the writers do, why does he wear the stupid vest? He doesn't look good in it, and he's not the GM anymore. So what's the point? Why doesn't he wear a T-shirt? So he actually has a few fans that'll buy some. Because I mean, I had to look it up. Why don't they acknowledge that he has a T-shirt? Why doesn't he wear his own T-shirt?
Well, he's got his own T-shirt company, first of all, so
I know.
Really cares?
But why doesn't he do that?
Well, I mean, maybe he should promote it more. Maybe they should promote it more for him. I mean, it's actually not a bad T-shirt. I don't know why they wouldn't promote it. He's the most featured person on their TV show, and by the way, he's the most over heel on the entire flagship show.
He's not the most prominent, not even close. Braun was on that show 5 times more than him this past week.
Who's Braun?
Baron,
the guy that lost his match at Royal Rumble.
yeah, but he was. I mean, no. Baron was in most segments, yes, for a stretch, not even close. He was in the show for 6 minutes. Come on.
But you see, if he goes back to his old gear, which I like, by the way,
it's not bad.
I'm kind of like everybody else. He's wearing ring gear. But if he's not wearing ring gear and he's wearing his corporate outfit, then he's kind of still a little bit different.
And I like different. I mean, that's fine with me. Okay, I mean, his Shawn Michaels pants looked really stupid. He never pulled them off. And he's not in. Well, I'm being honest. I'm being serious.
I don't know. Seriously, what does that mean? He doesn't pull them off.
They were thick, baggy, long leather, crappy ass wrestling pants with his lack of a physique, and it didn't look good. It just didn't. You know what? If it's between wrestling in the half suit, which he does dress well, if it's between the half suit and the baggy ass leather pants, I'll take the half suit 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, you see the way he moves in those dress shoes? It's fantastic.
That has to be really uncomfortable, in all honesty.
Of course.
Wrestling in jeans isn't that bad. I mean, Shane McMahon jumps around like a rag doll in Air Jordans, which are way too scuffed to even wear anymore, and skinny jeans. That's whatever, but we're talking about a suit. I mean, I enjoy wearing dress clothes, but I don't want to run in a suit for hell. I mean, much less sweat. in a
Ryan,
suit.
can you imagine you're 6'6" plus? You're, by the way, a super athlete. I mean, you're popping out of the ring, running around the ring, sliding back in. I mean, the athleticism it takes in dress shoes to pull that off.
He's
He's
slow.
got incredible speed for his size.
He's slow. He's very
He's
slow.
incredibly fast for his size.
He's still slow. No, he's slow. He is what he is. He's tall and he can, he's strong. He ain't fast. Come on. Don't be like that.
I mean, I don't know who else played in the NFL on the roster. Did Braun play in the NFL?
Brock Lesnar did, and he's much more the athlete that Baron is.
Okay, you've named one.
Hey, one is all I need. Just ask my. Never mind. Yeah, Raw and SmackDown this week. They were interesting. I got to watch the first half of SmackDown. I watched all of Raw today, as I normally do. I don't like to watch it live anymore. So I know what I'm getting myself into. We're near the end of January, which Dean, who is making his triumphant return this evening, laid down a challenge for the both of us. Is it give it till the end of January and see what's changing? See if they promised and if they would make the return on the promises that they kept. So far, let's focus on Raw right now. Focus on Raw. What have you seen that has changed so far? And to keep your opinions aside for now. I'm literally just talking about the facts. What has changed?
Okay, the McMahons are in charge.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got what's that Flippy's name on SmackDown?
Who?
Yeah, with the Sub-Zero.
Oh, I love how you go Mortal Kombat. Mustafa Ali.
Yeah. He's on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really stretching here because not a lot has changed.
They have a new matchup. Finn and Brock have never wrestled before. Have they?
I don't know. I mean, it's a fresh matchup anyway.
I'm literally reaching for the stars here.
I mean, that was just on this week's show. January's pretty much almost over. So
has McIntyre and they had a decent match on Raw with a really good spot with a reverse Alabama slammer onto the floor. Drew has continued to be so impressive. I don't know if they have they ever wrestled one-on-one?
I'm not sure if they have.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, if they did, it was, maybe during his first run with the company, but I don't think so.
So, okay. Storyline wise, more risque for the women. That has changed a little bit, but they've only done it they did it twice in the same damn episode. I'm not calling for that, but it's clear. Oh, and speaking of, I want to see the latest update on how many views that Mandy Rose segment has. Or I'm sorry, the Alexa Bliss segment. Why did they stop doing that all of a sudden? That drew so much, and I'm going to say it drew up so much damn controversy because they showed a little bit of skin and it wasn't even PG-13.
Exactly.
Why'd they stop?
Because they're a bunch of morons. That's why. We could go on about this all day, but they start off with something that could be good, and they just cut the legs off from underneath it. And that's a trend we've seen over and over. So, yeah.
Is it something that they just don't want to become bigger than the WWE is what it's supposed to be in the eyes of the ones who create it? If they were to continue on that trend, and let's make the record clear, we're not chauvinistic pigs, okay? We're not calling for naked women to be on a wrestling show. That's really stupid. But I'm calling attention to the attention they are getting for just doing the most little thing possible to drum up so much conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. It was smart business, and they should have continued it. There's no question about it. But, that's, like I said, that's what they do. But, yeah, I want to ask you, did you see the beginning of Raw, the Finn Balor segment? We talk about how he's got the match versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
They have the in-ring segment where kind of they make Finn a little inferior, like Braun comes out first. Finally, Finn comes out, and Vince says he doesn't believe in fairy tales. I don't either, by the way. And then you get and this was a clear as day camera shot of Vince McMahon towering over Finn Balor.
Vince wears lifts in his shoes. You know that?
He's not wearing lifts in his shoes.
Yeah, he does. His knees are so messed up that he needs Dr. Scholl's, and it gives him like at least 3 inches to his shoes.
Oh, it doesn't give him 3 inches.
It does. I don't know where
you're not.
I was checking with my sources, and that's true. Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, your girlfriend may have said that's what 3 inches looks like, but I'm telling you, there's no way those lifts are 3 inches, pal.
I'm just saying.
I mean, he towered over him. I was like, the 70-something-year-old boss is just looking like he could dominate Finn Balor, pal. Oh, God, the matchup just doesn't work for me at all.
It doesn't have to. I can't wait to see it. I hope they get at least creative and not be lazy. That's all I want. It's obvious who the winner is going to be. Finn's not going to win, but I want him to at least try. At least in the Daniel Bryan match, they tried and it made it very fun to watch.
How do you sell for that? How do you sell for a guy that's 180 pounds?
I mean, if you get kicked as hard as someone can in the face, I mean, you can. What's the word I'm looking for? Okay, I'll just be really blunt. You can fake feel it, right? I mean, that's what punches can do, or like Drew McIntyre's headbutt. You're not getting the headbutt. You're, trying to, disguise that you're not actually getting hit. That's what fake wrestling is,
Yeah,
getting kicked. I mean, if someone drop kicked you in the face, you're gonna react. You're gonna feel it. They may not hurt that much, but you're gonna feel it. So they might have to get so basic like that, or what I think is gonna happen. Braun's gonna come out and interfere and tease everyone that Finn's gonna win, but he won't.
Well, they're gonna have to do something. I mean, they could have added the intrigue of the demon Finn Balor.
They could have.
That would have been the only opportunity I would have seen for Finn to win if they had him portrayed as the demon. But he clearly came out and said that's not going to happen. So
why would they do that?
Like, spells the end of his chances to win.
Why do they have to do that? Why do they have to go out? And it was him during an interview with Sports Illustrated. He specifically said, "Yeah, that's not going to return." Well, why the hell not? What story are you trying to tell? I mean, I'll defend you for a second. You say every week that you just want story-driven television. If it's a good story, I can, see more than not. You're very forgiving on based reality if the story is very well told.
Sure.
Like you literally just, you have a height fetish, yes, and you don't believe in fairy tales, but you watch wrestling and it is a fairy tale. It's just a male soap opera. I've been saying that for years.
I don't know that it is these days, though. I mean,
no, it's not.
Stories and characters. It's just a bunch of fake fights.
Yeah,
I mean, the male soap opera at least has characters and stories. This is like, okay, let's put two guys together and give them a 2 out of 3 falls match because they're going to have a 5-star fake fight.
But that's okay every once in a while. Do you not enjoy a good wrestling match? Yes, you have. You've told me you have. Like
I do. I mean, yeah, that has to be an outlier though. That has to be the exception to the rule, and I feel like now it's more of the rule than the exception.
Now, I would say like at least. I mean, I'd say at least once a month on each side, women and men. Give us a goddamn good wrestling match. You're right. I don't need to see one. Well, if I want to see a good wrestling match and a story, I go to NXT because they have more creative freedom than main roster folks ever will. So they have the creativity to do that.
Yeah.
Main roster though, it's different. It's NXT is not an episodic television show, in my opinion. It's more of a wrestling show, but yeah, they tell stories too in the ring and outside of the ring. Raw and SmackDown have always historically been more about the story than the wrestling, and that's when it was more successful. Mark Madden, famed wrestling commentator, not really famed, more famed sports journalist. He's a radio host here in Pittsburgh and used to be a WCW commentator. He says this all the time on his show that less people have ever watched wrestling in the history of wrestling. You know, even when the times were really rough in the early 80s and in the early 90s, more people still watched than right now, as far as World Wrestling Entertainment is concerned. And why? Through the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression, even there were amazing. I mean, you watched how many great matches were in the Ruthless Aggression era? A shit ton, right?
Yeah, it was some good matches.
But what was it more still based on? It was still storyline driven.
Yeah, you had a lot of characters, a lot of over the top characters.
Yeah.
You know, and stars. Yeah, I mean, you know, Mark is exactly right. You know, he's exactly right.
And he, you know, he still likes pro wrestling a ton. He goes to all the shows in the Pittsburgh area, indies or not. But it just goes to show that whatever they're doing isn't working. For example, so we're, you know, last week, Rey Mysterio and Andrade had a really, really good match. I loved it. It only got 517,000 views on YouTube. It's like a 2-minute highlight. It still kind of set the pace for how good the match was. The Mandy Rose hotel scene has 3.5 million views in 6 days.
So what draws in people's interest the most?
I'm not saying YouTube is the Bible of what we should be basing how they should write their show. Not at all. But that is YouTube is used by billions of people every day. It's a benchmark. It's a very good benchmark, and I'm going to try to find right now the Alexa Bliss backstage scene. 6.3 million in a week ago yesterday. Yeah. And the triple threat match with Ambrose, Rollins, and Lashley, a good triple threat match, 1 million. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's like you said, yeah, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, it's so obvious what they need to do. I mean, more people have viewed that particular YouTube video than have watched the entire show of Monday Night Raw by far.
And SmackDown total.
And SmackDown combined. Oh, would that not be a clue? Now, I mean, there are people like you, John, who probably watched that, 20,000 times back to back. But outside of that, I mean, wouldn't you think that would be what they call a clue?
Yeah. And I'm the first one to defend good pro wrestling. I love it. It's outside of my work, my family, my, journalism. I love and video games. I love pro wrestling, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, your video game tweets are very boring, by the way.
You don't have. They're not for you.
No, I know. I just mute you.
That's fair.
Look, I want to ask you your opinion on Apollo Crews because I think we may have a serious issue here. A repeat offender. Now, maybe you know what I'm talking about, John, but
yeah.
I watched on Monday Night Raw Apollo grab Lio Rush like a bowling ball, just like he did to Sasha weeks ago. I mean, the guy thinks he's a modern Earl Anthony, the undisputed king of bowling.
I don't even know who that is.
I mean, he just takes his hand, he slides it in the holes, and slings it.
Wait, holes? There's only one. I mean, yeah. He doesn't know. Apollo, he actually got the best crowd reaction he's ever gotten before. I think Bobby Lashley's just that hated.
Well, I mean, or they're waiting for the big moment where he does the old bowling ball trick again.
He grabs the grundle.
I mean, seriously, he's a repeat offender. Why has nobody complained to HR?
I just want to know how uncomfortable that made Lio Rush.
I think he could have lost his bud virginity.
I know Sasha didn't mind. She doesn't mind showing her full ass on television.
I mean, she got the full, pink and stink, it seemed like.
I wasn't going to go that far.
But I'm saying he is, manhandling, for lack of a better term. And I don't know what's going on here. We may need an investigation.
I mean, I know a few investigative reporters. I can just get them on the horn right now. Do you think Sasha's wardrobe malfunction was On purpose.
That's a great question. I want to talk about this. We last week we had side boob gate. This week we've got
Buttgate.
butt gate. Sasha Banks butt exposed wasn't intentional, and I have to be honest, John. What'd you think?
Okay, what exactly am I answering here?
Do you
Clarify.
think it was intentional? I mean, I don't think it was intentional.
No, I don't. I think it was an accident.
I think it was an accident. As I was watching, I didn't see it. It was totally blanked out for me. They cut away. Now, I was watching live streaming on Hulu Live TV. So that's how I watch. And, it did not show for me at all. But I saw it on Twitter. People were obviously taking screenshots. Total perverts who were probably, jacking off in their grandmother's basement.
Oh my gosh.
And well, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know. But, and I see it all over Twitter, and that's obviously what I missed. I figured when they cut away, something had to have happened, a wardrobe malfunction, because that's what they do. But I don't think it was intentional. I just thought, man, that was interesting based on how we just saw the Alexa Bliss backstage segment. They're kind of getting a little more risque lately. And it makes you kind of wonder, like, even if obviously it's an accident, it's like, it's still kind of coincidental timing. So I guess it adds a little intrigue in that regard. But
that's what our old friend at Ringside News, Steve, seems to think, that it might be on purpose. I'm watching the YouTube clip as we speak right now, trying to see if it made the YouTube cut. I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I highly doubt it. And I don't think it was intentional, but I think it's a fair question to ask based on recent events. Definitely fair to ask. And there's a lot of intrigue around it. Now, that being said, John, what did you think?
Like, what am I thinking of, Sasha's butt? Or what did I think of the match? Or the spot?
I don't know. What did you think? I'm talking about the match. What are you talking about?
I mean, the match was okay. I mean, I'm over the Bayley Sasha thing. I feel like Bayley should just, make her character, interesting for the first time since NXT and turn heel and kick her ass. Because Sasha certainly doesn't feel like she even wants to be on the show anymore. based on recent reports.
Ready to go with the revival. I don't know if you saw that tweet.
I did. And she's been using, cuss words on Instagram promoting her match, and she's been very vocal about, wanting to build to matches. I mean, think about it. Her and Ronda have had 2 weeks to build to a Royal Rumble match, which probably is going to be good, and with a good story around it, be great.
Yeah.
And they didn't have that chance. So she's like, stop it, bitch. Like, when you have to revert to swearing to get a pop, it's lame.
Yeah, well, speaking of lame, did you see Lacey Evans? And I by the way, I like the character. I love out,
Lacey. Lacey's great.
She had a character. She's a sophisticated, classy lady, right?
She hit herself in the head.
She clocks herself in the fucking head with a microphone while she's taking it from Alexa Bliss, and
it
knocks
was a
her
poor
head down. I was like, awkward.
It was a poor handoff. I think you are going to really like Lacey. She's a good performer. She has a character. She can talk on the mic. She's a good heel. She knows how to get it done.
Yeah.
And she's tall. You like that?
Yeah, she's tall.
I think she's taller than Nia Jax. I know that for sure.
May have to put the title on her immediately. We'll see.
Well, no, never mind. So I usually subtract 2 inches. Really?
Oh,
so
that's funny because I normally add 2.
How tall from Wikipedia? I get it. You're mean. Okay, so Nia Jax is how tall?
She's about 5'10".
Okay, Wikipedia has Lacey Evans at 5'8". I don't think that's true. Because she's tall. I mean, she's not like Sasha or I think you need to investigate that.
I might have to. I mean, we know you're not the best at heights, John, so I may have to investigate this.
I mean, I am very good at it, so don't get me wrong, but I think that it's height gate. I mean, we almost had thumb gate at the Patriots game, which I tried to start viral. It did not work. No one else thought it was funny. I did.
It's kind of like your jokes on this podcast. It's like, you know.
Oh, hey, I was lighting that up on Twitter. You just didn't give me a chance. You didn't even
Well,
reply.
I have you
That's
muted.
okay.
I have you muted.
That's
I
right.
can't see it. It's not
That's
my
true.
fault, pal. By the way, the Revival lose again.
And
What
talked
did
to
you
Vince
think?
before the match.
Well, yeah, and Vince said a
Well,
contract is a contract, pal.
I think it's hypocritical because Andrade did the same exact thing, and now he's being pushed to the moon. But the Revival do it, and they get buried like gravy, man. I
Well,
don't get it.
I mean,
What's the difference here?
Braun Strowman attacks Vince McMahon's limousine, loses his title match at the Royal Rumble. AJ Styles hits
Punches
Vince McMahon and gets a title match at the Royal Rumble.
What else? And then but then Andrade tells his two friends to not sign here, displays his displeasure, and beats Rey Mysterio 3 weeks in a row.
Well, he should just leave then. If he's unhappy, he should leave.
Well, now he's getting pushed to the moon. Why would he want to leave?
Because it's fake. He's not actually winning. If you're unhappy and you think you can make more money elsewhere, or you don't care about the money because you're such a mark for yourself that you just want to win fake fights, then he should leave. I mean, he's a star in Mexico. He could go back to Mexico.
He could go to AEW.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even have a ring yet, but he could go there at some point.
They'll have a ring. They'll have a ring in April. They're going to be doing something Mania weekend. I'm certain, but yeah.
What did you think of EC3? I mean, is it the same promo? Now, they give us the same promo we've seen 100 times, and then we get another backstage posing segment.
At least he was by himself, though, and not fudged together with 6 other newcomers.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, he's 35, and at this rate, by the time these promos stop airing every week, he's going to be 36. I mean, this is going on forever.
At least he's still on the show, unlike Lars Sullivan.
Well, Lars is he messed up his opportunity, so we'll see what happens.
Can we talk more about that in news? Is there an update to that?
I'm waiting to get more information on it. They did have to shuffle John Cena's schedule. I did talk about it on Twitter at the Brad Shepard, but they certainly made it clear that he messed up that opportunity, and he was supposed to attack John Cena. He did not. Now they've come up with a worked John Cena injury angle. He does have some movie commitments, and so now it's going to be really interesting. Like the opportunity, the window is closing there for this match to happen. So, it's up in the air whether it'll happen, but I'm waiting to find out.
He effed up.
Yeah,
he effed up.
So I just want to talk about, and I think this is really important because there's one guy with the most heel heat on the entire TV show, the flagship show, Monday Night Raw. And by the way, he's also got the most protected finisher in all of WWE. And he beat Elias. Huge momentum going into the Rumble match. And I've got to say, as Chris Berman would say, he could go all the way.
Yeah, he's not winning the Royal Rumble match. Sorry.
But if he does, he's
no
almost assured to win the Universal Championship. And what that means is Mean Dean Iampietro will be fired.
Now, there's literally no chance. Not a chance.
Does Dean have an elbow drop this week?
Yeah, he does. We can go right to it if you want.
Let's go to it. Let's get to the elbow drop.
Sure. Right on cue.
Brad, I hope that you've recovered nicely after whatever it is that you did after Baron Corbin won a match. So, tonight I think I've got I could drop the elbow on Brad for picking on Finn Balor and Brock Lesnar, and for not having the realization that they're telling the very story that you're complaining about, the David and Goliath thing, and now it's not believable, and that actually is the story. I'm sure you're probably crapping all over the women's division by about now. And not liking pretty much anything that the product does because you never give it a chance. But I have to drop an elbow on John Fisher. Let's set the record straight here, guys. Brad, he doesn't even have a desk. He sits at this large circular desk at work, but it's not his desk. He doesn't even have a nameplate. I have a desk. I'm the only producer that has editing capabilities at my desk. Sean will say he's not my boss. Hey, if you didn't say it during that pause, John, I'm disappointed in you. But if I have something that I need to have shot aside, who do I say that to, John? I think it's you. Yeah. Oh, and who's the only one in the newsroom, John, that has a championship belt that I earned? Oh no, I didn't beat you for it in the playoffs this year. I beat everybody that was in my way. You didn't get there. I'm the champion. So, on Wednesday, I expect to see you in my office so that I can unleash a DDT, a spear, or maybe an elbow.
Wow.
Real full of himself, isn't he?
I mean, that was incredible. Mean Dean with the heel turn. He's finally found his balls. I mean, it was great. He buried you to China. I mean, you sat there for weeks and crapped on him. Your own boss at work. I can't believe it. He's got a nameplate. Where's your nameplate?
Yeah, I do have a nameplate. He's not my boss, and he doesn't have an office. So
The drama continues.
That was really good. I appreciated that. Would you like to, I really don't have to get to my part because everything he said is a farce. Because I did make the fantasy playoffs. He didn't beat me for it at all, which is true. And the last time we met in the playoffs, I beat him by 100. So I don't know what to say to that. Yes, Vince, you're going to ask where the beef is now?
Oh, I know where the beef is. It's Otis Dojovic.
I love him. He's the best.
He's a walking chode.
I love him. He's the greatest.
He is as wide as he's long, and it's rare. I've known a few people like that in my day, but I love it. I mean, he's a walking chode.
He's entertaining as hell, and he's a world-class power lifter.
Yeah,
fun fact.
Really strong.
He is so great. He is the first guy in years that has had. He's so organic and different, because with the Bushwhackers, like, they were revolutionary for their day. And they're on the Hall of Fame for the wrong reasons, by the way. They were much better when they were actually themselves. They're not this like wacky crap that Vince turned them into.
Well, he turned them into cartoon characters. I mean, they were very successful outside of the company as the sheep herders.
Yeah.
As heels, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, weren't they nasty?
Yeah.
But I love Otis, man. He's funny. I can't explain it. He makes me laugh. And that's all I need. I'm very simplistic. If you make me laugh, if you entertain me, then that's it. Done. Otis does the job. I don't know. Even though you're calling him a walking chode, do you actually enjoy his presence, or do you wish that he'd go away forever?
I don't wish he would go away forever right now. I thought their debut was fine.
You're intrigued.
Yeah, it's giving me something, right? It doesn't have to be like the greatest thing in the world, but Jesus, give me something.
Yeah.
And they gave me something. Now, will it suck in 3 weeks? Maybe. And if it does, I'm going to say it does. But for right now, they're giving me something, and I'm going to see how it plays out.
Yeah. We saw the return announcement of Alexa Bliss. So clearly, well, I don't want to step too far ahead. She's going to be in the Royal Rumble match at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view event at
Do you
Chase
think
Field.
that should have been a surprise, by the way? Or
Yeah,
do
I
you
do.
think? I mean, you announce it on Raw, and you do that because you think people may be more intrigued to buy a ticket or get the network to
No,
watch the show.
nope, nope.
You don't think that's the case. So then what?
I love. Yeah, go ahead.
So, again, with the surprise, you're not trying to do any of that. You're just going for the surprise pop, for the people who already bought tickets or already watching.
The Royal Rumble is something that's all about surprise. The surprise entrance, a surprise winner, something that could shock us. That's what the Royal Rumble is meant to be. And by getting rid of that, it kind of like it dumbs it down. Because I
Yeah.
mean, Vince thinks we're all stupid, so that's a given.
Well, I mean, to be fair, have you seen some of the audience?
I do not make fun of the kids at home. I can't do that.
Hey, one of the things that stood out to me that I thought was interesting about the Moment of Bliss segment with Alexa is her referring to the women who came out as catty. Now, as you know, I've
Wow.
talked about for a long time the women's evolution and how these were just catty women. And so now here they are portraying them again as just catty women.
Yeah.
Which is counterproductive to what they say they're doing. So I thought that was interesting. They had the big fight and the camera. The other thing I noticed was the camera shaking was so bad that I thought I was having a seizure and I was watching it on TV.
That was really bad. I hate that. Then they stopped doing it for a while, especially like with spots in the corner. But now they're back to it and it just sucks. It sucks. As a television professional, it is horrifying to watch. But they are catty. I mean, women's evolution, great. That was a buzzword for 2 months. Now you have, and I'm no hater, Naomi and Mandy Rose having a wrestling clinic for the ages, with sarcasm included. That one kind of deserves a caveat. They're not trying to prove their story in the ring. It's a story that they're telling outside of the ring that's clearly filling into the actual wrestling matches. It ain't gonna be a 5-star classic. It's never meant to be.
but you want to you're going to open that door. Let's talk about Naomi and Mandy.
Yeah.
And I talked about they had a good angle. I thought it was different. It was intriguing. It was relatable. And they cut the legs out from underneath it after just a couple of weeks. And because they turned it into a match. The focus became a match. Let's have a match.
Yeah. Stupid.
Instead of drawing this out, bleeding it dry a little, and no pun intended, and kind of just letting it play out like a real TV story, not just a wrestling story. And I thought that was a mistake, but they have a match, and because they didn't tell a proper story, people didn't get emotionally invested enough in the match, and it got zero reaction, and it was a bad match. Now, does it have to be a 5-star classic? No, it should have been a fight. It should have been two people angry, pissed off. I mean, Naomi should have been trying to kill her.
Well, she did it. She did. Okay.
So Naomi comes out.
She attacked her before the match started.
She came out dancing and smiling and took her time getting to the ring and jumping up and down and sliding.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You think that's related? Now, let me tell you this. You're married. Some girl is trying to get with your husband, or at least pretending. You confront them, and you're going to be dancing around as you walk up to them to confront them. You're dancing and smiling? No. She should have been walking with a purpose, if not running to the ring.
Well, okay.
And then trying to punch her face in. That's it.
Mandy should have came out first. Mandy should have came out first, and then Naomi come out and run to the ring and beat the crap out of her, or come from behind and get.
I thought it was terribly laid out. I just, it was not relatable. There was no emotional investment because, they just told the story the wrong way. So they totally missed that one big time.
Yeah, they missed it.
Well,
Did you like Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles? I didn't get to see the confrontation.
it was fine. You know,
Okay.
it was. I do like Daniel Bryan in this heel role. It's more true to who he is.
I thought you didn't like it the last 2 weeks, like his promo out in the front, and how talking about vegans and how people are.
No, I do like it. It's fine. It's based on, you know, what he really believes, and so I do like that. There's authenticity in what he says.
Yeah,
I do like that. Yeah, I do. So it's fine. Again, the story makes no sense because AJ punches Vince and gets a title shot, and then you've got Braun destroying the limo and losing a title shot. So there's no continuity between shows, but and they both involve Vince McMahon. But apparently, you know, one audience doesn't watch the other show, so nobody knows about it. So no worries there. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, you know, I don't know if you caught Charlotte with a real funny one-liner there. Oh boy, I'll tell you what, they should promote the person who wrote this.
talking about Ken
Doe Stick. Yeah, that's really going to get over great. I mean, it was just like wah, wah, wah. Now, you know who writes that thing and finds it funny?
Oh, you didn't know? No, I'm not reciting the name of our show.
I mean, I thought the entire segment was just not that great. I mean, you got box office Becky. She's out there cutting a promo, and it's a total try hard again.
It was better than last week.
The man. Well, I mean, that was a low bar. It was better than last week. You know, you're right. It was better than last week. But last week was a low bar, and the man shouldn't have a low bar, and the man shouldn't have low attendance and empty seats and a tarped off upper deck. But let me put it to you like this. If box office Becky, or as I call her lately, basic Becky, was the Attitude Era's Stone Cold instead of Steve Austin himself, WCW would have won the Monday Night War.
Well, you tweeted that out. That's not really original anymore.
But I'm the one that came up with them. How is that not original?
Well, because not one person can sell out arenas anymore. It's not possible. It is no one. Not even Cena can sell out an arena. So
he's an old hat. He's an old dog.
He hasn't been. He has not been able to sell out an arena by himself for years. Brock has never sold out an arena. It doesn't happen anymore. Those are the Hogans, the Brunos. That's the Stone Colds. Once in a lifetime thing.
Those are the Stone Colds. That's right. Becky. Yeah. So you agree Becky is no Stone Cold?
No, Stone Cold's incomparable.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Okay. All right.
No, I mean Becky's right now the most popular women's wrestler right now. I mean, no one's Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was he may have been the last wrestler to sell out an arena by himself. I'd like to see the numbers if they're around, but he might be the only one and the last one to do it. Even when Cena was at his prime, pro wrestling wasn't at such a high volume by the casual fan. It was still, the ratings were better than they are now, but again, it's been a steady and slow decline for a decade. It just is what it is.
Yeah, they had a great match. Rey, Mysterio, and Andrade. They had over 30 minutes in that entire segment, which included some other superstars getting involved to really hype up the Rumble. They had Samoa Joe come out and Randy Orton. But they had a 2 out of 3 falls match, which was overall a very good match. But I have to ask, you have a segment that is past 10 o'clock, and it's over 30 minutes. And did they really need that in the grand scheme of the go-home show for the Royal Rumble? How much time did they give the United States Championship match on the show tonight?
I have no idea.
0 minutes.
Okay. It wasn't even on the show, was it?
It wasn't on the show.
Yeah.
They didn't have them on the show. They didn't promote the match at the Royal Rumble. But you've got a 2 out of 3 falls match between two guys who are just going to be one of many in a Rumble match. Could they not have cut this to 20 minutes and maybe given, I don't know, 10 minutes to the United States Championship?
Like I said, I think every once in a while, a match that can take up half an hour is fine. Remember the Seth Rollins gauntlet that lasted an hour? Like, I have never seen that before. Maybe not since Shawn and John Cena's Iron Man match. Oh my gosh, like 13 years ago. That's totally great every once in a while. I'm fine with it. But that doesn't, you're right though, that doesn't forgive not having the US title on the show whatsoever. You know, here's something they could have easily done. That Mandy and Naomi match maybe was 4.5, 5 minutes. Take that out, shorten up something else in the front, and then give Mandy and Naomi a good backstage to further the story and put the U.S. title, even just a promo and a brawl, something.
Yeah, I just didn't make sense to me.
Now,
it's your go home show.
Yeah. Before we get into news in the Royal Rumble, I want to get your thoughts. I hate that I'm asking this, but I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. The WWE did something with one of the newer wrestlers that they have been featuring. I know you know where I'm going with this. In the last several months, it wasn't some stupid, cutaway 30-second face selfie promo. They took Mustafa Ali, he told his personal story, and the edit looked really, really good. And we actually learned about him as a character and a human, added some authenticity to it, and gave him a voice. What did you think about that package they put together? It was like 2.5 minutes.
Well, I thought it was a good start. I mean, it's the first time we've really learned anything about him as a character on the TV show.
Yeah.
So, I was all for that. I mean, that's something they should have done from the beginning.
I said that on Twitter.
That's something you do at the beginning before they even, start getting involved in matches or anything. But, they didn't do that, and they've got a history of that. So I do like that they did something. However, that's something you do at the very beginning. But it was a start.
I mean, we learned that he was a cop, which we had no idea. I never had a clue.
That. Yeah, he was a cop in Chicago.
And the guy can actually cut a promo scripted in that avenue. But I thought it was really well done. I like that he was on the street. I don't think he was in Chicago, but I like the right to the edit, and I loved how it had emotion, it had background music, and it was that was like my favorite thing of wrestling in this past week. My favorite, because it was just different. They don't do that shit anymore, and I don't know why.
You know what my favorite was?
Oh, easily Finn Balor getting the biggest pop of the week. Easily.
I don't know what show you were watching. I certainly didn't watch a show where that was the case. But, my favorite segment, my favorite moment of the week in WWE would have been Baron Corbin squashing Elias again with the most protected finisher in the entire company on the flagship show where he is the most over heel. That would have been my favorite moment of the week.
Stand by really quick. Remember when you talk about protected finishers? Remember when everyone's finisher was protected?
Yeah, I do actually. I mean,
that was a good time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're wrong, actually. I finally found a finisher more protected than the end of days. The end of days. And I have facts to prove it. Do you want to take a guess of what it might be?
Well, it would be none, because nobody has ever kicked out of the end of days. Therefore, nobody could have a more protected finisher, because there's nothing that's better than never kicking out. But please do go ahead.
No. I mean, if you count FCW, does FCW count?
FCW? Are you freaking kidding me?
No.
Are you talking about the minor? Do you want to count home runs in the minor leagues of
no. Triple
A?
No, this goes into my point. I'm not saying that this is an NXT guy. No.
Well, why don't we go back to and see how many people have kicked out of Trevor Lee's finisher in the Indies? I mean, who cares?
Well, probably a lot. Only one person has ever kicked out of the curb stomp, and that was Dean Ambrose in FCW in 2011.
So you're literally telling me
that his finisher has never been kicked out of in the main roster? Nope.
But someone has kicked out of it
in FCW, but it wasn't even televised.
Okay, and FCW at the time was
2000.
a developmental territory for WWE.
Yeah, 2011. Before NXT.
Okay, so what you're telling me is one finisher has never been kicked out.
Well, on WWE television,
Another has been kicked out.
No, on WWE television, neither have.
Okay, so how does that make one more protected than the other?
They're equal.
Okay, you literally just said it was more protected.
It is, because I says it is.
It is because I says it is. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a Steelers fan, folks. I mean, you can't argue with logic.
That's right, because they have more Super Bowls than New England does. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
You can't argue facts.
1933, they
70,
do have one more.
75. They didn't win in 8.
1933 is when the franchise actually, became a team.
Well, I'm talking about when they win.
founded.
No. When they win their first, and then, as of right now, 75.
When they win their last, by the way.
2011.
Okay, when
No,
the
09.
last
09.
two, I mean, they've won 2 recently in modern history, but outside of that, when's the last time they won a Super Bowl?
I'm looking at totals.
Oh, okay, but would that be 1980? I think it would be 1980.
What do you mean 1980?
That's the last time they won a Super Bowl outside of the modern era. Okay, that's a long time, dude. I mean, that's like 20, 30 years almost.
Yeah, they won in 05 and 09. They went to the one in 95 and lost. Like New England lost last year. And then...
Yep. But New England, Tom Brady alone has been to 8, 9 coming up.
No, this is his 9th, isn't it?
It is his. No, it's his 9th. And how many Super Bowls has Pittsburgh been to?
8. He has been to more,
so
but
Tom
he's
Brady's
also
been to more Super Bowls.
But he's also lost more.
Okay, he's won 5 alone. How many has Pittsburgh won
6.
in their entire franchise history? 1933.
6.
They won 6.
So they have more than him.
5 in 18 years.
But they have more than him, though.
Are you kidding me?
They have more, right?
Yes, their franchise has more than one quarterback. Tom Brady. Congratulations, they have one more since 1933.
I think that's rings, man. You got one more. Now, if he wins in a week and a half, then my argument's no longer valid. But as of right now, it still is. Kind of like, last year when the Capitals beat the Penguins in the second round. It was always about how, one's better than the other. Well, Washington never won a damn cup, but Pittsburgh has won 5. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. We have...
New England sports teams, they won 17 titles in 17 years.
Is it really that much?
Yeah.
Was it Boston? Boston has 3.
It's the new age title town.
It is.
It is. That's a fact.
During the 70s, with the Pirates and the Steelers doing so well, because they each won, Steelers won 4 and the Pirates won 3.
Yeah, Terry Bradshaw got carried to 4 Super Bowls.
You're right. He should never have been the MVP.
I mean, seriously, the guy was throwing for less than 200 yards a game. Consistently 100 yards a game, 150 yards a game.
Different era, though. They ran the ball a shit ton more.
Well, he also wasn't that great. I mean, let's be honest. They were a great defense. They were a great running team.
Receivers.
And Terry Bradshaw was just the guy who was a complementary piece to the team that helped them win, but he wasn't the reason they won.
No, John Stallworth, Lynn Swann, Franco Harris, the defense. Chuck Noll. Sure.
That's why you never see Terry Bradshaw with 4 rings in the GOAT conversation.
No, hell no. Hell no.
Absolutely not.
Hell no. All right. The Royal Rumble card, we're just going to run through it really quickly, and we'll kind of give our predictions so far. All right. And let's start with I don't want to say the lesser matches, but ones that aren't being as hyped. I'll put it that way. All right. To begin, probably on the pre-show, Buddy Murphy and Kalisto, Akira Tozawa, and Hideo Itami. Fatal 4-way. Who do you got?
I could care less about this match.
You got to pick one.
This is the match I care about the least on the entire card. I'm going to pick Buddy Murphy.
There we go. That's probably a good pick. I do too. Rusev versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Universal, or wow, I wish, for the U.S. Championship. Rusev, obviously, this is his first title match since becoming champ.
And he gets to defend it on the kickoff show. Lucky him.
Yeah,
I'm going to take Rusev.
I will too. I will too in this one, especially with the baby on the way. He's got to make some money.
Yeah. Well, you know, they make more money when they're champion.
Is that a fact?
Don't you know, they win the title, they make more money.
Well, I believe it is it's a bonus for winning a fake title. Well, you have more dates to go to, more press, things like that. So I could see where that could lie in some truth. The Bar versus Shane McMahon and The Miz for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. If that match continues because of what happened on SmackDown, they nearly killed each other.
I'm going to say the Bar win.
I do too. What? Yeah, because it's clear Shane versus The Miz at Mania, right?
That does seem to be the direction they're going.
So why would they win the title? Exactly.
Right.
I just convinced myself. The Bar. Asuka versus Becky Lynch in a match this is the one you're most looking forward to. Okay. All personal feelings aside, how do you see them booking this?
Well, hopefully not with a promo.
Well, I want to see a Becky promo, not an Asuka promo. She yells too much. My girlfriend does not like Asuka whatsoever.
Wow, that's fantastic to hear, actually.
So how do they book it? What do you think they're going to do?
What does she think about Baron Corbin?
She thinks his hair looks like spaghetti.
He's got a shaved head.
Well, I showed her an old picture of him. I don't know. I haven't watched Raw with her lately, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, it's fair. It's not a good show. Yeah, I'll take Becky Lynch.
So she's not going to be in the Royal Rumble.
I don't know. Maybe she's double booked. I don't know. I just really, this is about, look, Asuka sucks. She's not very good. And I frankly think she's a bad champion, and I just want someone to beat her. Hell, I don't care who it is. Put Maurice in here. Put whoever. Bring back Beth Phoenix and have her beat her. Who cares?
I'd love to see Beth back in action. That'd be great.
Well, she's going to be in the pre-show kickoff show panel, and that should be very interesting because they've got the old Heartbreak Kid who has, blocked me on Twitter. They've got him, and he is the total shits at the kickoff show panel. So it should be brutally bad. It's actually going to be entertaining to watch just because it's so bad.
Like a bad train wreck with no one to hurt, because we don't want that.
Yeah.
Ronda. So yeah, I have Asuka winning and Becky going to the Rumble. Ronda versus Sasha in a Raw Women's Championship match for who can say bitch the most. Give me Ronda.
Give me Ronda, and hopefully Sasha can keep her pants up.
Well, some people disagree with you. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. I hope they let these guys go for 25 minutes because it's less I have to see of other matches.
I have no idea.
I have Daniel.
I have no idea. I don't know what they're. I
have Daniel.
I don't know. I guess I'll pick Daniel Bryan.
Well, the reports of AJ wanting some time off, maybe he's going to get it.
Maybe so, but I'm going to take Bryan.
Yeah, I am too. Brock Lesnar, Finn Balor, Universal Championship. We can say our guesses on a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
Jinx.
Easy. Jinx, you owe me 50,000 Cokes. The Royal Rumble women's match. Here's something fun. Give me a surprise entrant and give me your winner.
For the women's?
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss. Oh no, wait, they spoiled that already.
Yep. Sure did.
Maybe Beth Phoenix comes, and
that's what I was gonna say.
And she's on the kickoff show, so she'll be there. Maybe she comes out again. I mean, they've got like 8-ish spots for surprises in the Women's Rumble.
Is that it? Just 8?
Well, they announced, I think it was like 22 they announced.
Yeah.
So, that leaves about 8 where you don't know. So there could be some others. What about Karma?
Well, I thought she didn't have any interest in wrestling ever again.
I don't know, but she does a good job on Glow. But those are just some guesses. I don't know. But there's going to be some surprises, obviously.
Sure.
And, whatever.
Yeah, give me as for her to win, I'll take Becky, and I have Beth coming out.
Yeah, I thought the Rumble match was very sloppy last year, the Women's Rumble. So
this is their second one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they get a chance to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, and the main event, I hope, men's Royal Rumble match. As far as a winner, I have the man on the Raw show, Seth Rollins, and I think Bray Wyatt is going to make his triumphant return to the main stage.
Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, I think he's going to come back.
Yeah, Why? I mean, I think that's right. It'll be interesting because if they put the Universal Championship match on last, that's when I would really question if they've decided to pull the trigger on Finn Balor. I don't expect it to happen. I'm just saying the match card matters.
It does.
The men's Royal Rumble, I think Bray Wyatt is a safe bet to come back. Who knows? Maybe an NXT or two. Maybe Velveteen Dream comes out at the Royal Rumble.
Love that.
Yeah. So look for that. Who knows? But
who do you have winning?
Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre are my two favorites to win. I want to see Baron Corbin win, of course.
You will.
But, I don't know. He's over huge.
He ain't gonna
win. Look, Seth Rollins is probably the favorite.
Yeah.
And, maybe it gets down to Seth and Drew. They kind of teased that on Raw. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
It make for a big moment.
Yeah. I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. The Royal Rumble is a pay-per-view I enjoy. I enjoy the concept. So, the match itself, the Royal Rumble match, I don't like to know the spoilers.
Me neither.
I like to be surprised by who comes out, that type of thing. So I don't want to know. So it should be fun.
All right. And that'll be the Royal Rumble. NXT TakeOver. Phoenix is going to be really fun, too. A lot of good matches coming up. But let's get to Brad's favorite segment because his ego is as tall as he is.
Hit my music. That is like music to my ears.
Well, because it is music in your ears. So
yeah,
clearly.
Welcome, everybody, to breaking news on the Oh You Didn't Know Wrestling Show, sponsored by, tell them, John.
You don't have a sponsor. Oh, well, I guess we can. Can we? Powerslam.tv, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's kind of like feeding it to you, like setting you up, giving you the lob. Spike it home.
We can do it next week for sure. I didn't see it coming. Yeah. Powerslam.tv. Use our code OYDKWS for a free month, free $99. A lot of good stuff on there. Shoot interviews, actual pro wrestling, if that's what you're into.
Yeah, I was actually just kind of hoping you would do it because I would totally get the hashtag wrong.
It's very easy to get it right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I'm a linguist. It's fine.
I'm a cunning linguist. I do get a little tongue tied with that though.
Yeah. Okay.
So okay, on to breaking news. So I talked with a source in WWE about the sentiment around AEW at WWE headquarters. And of course, if you talk to, wrestlers and different people who aren't office people, you're going to get different takes or biases. But talking to someone at headquarters, talent relations people may have eyes on the AEW company and what they're doing. But nobody else at WWE headquarters really seems to care. They're all too wrapped up in the stuff they have with the people who actually work for WWE. And, it's times like this time of year where they get so busy with the work they have, they're just kind of focusing on what's in front of them. So, yeah, there's zero hype at WWE headquarters about AEW.
Not surprising. I mean, you're taking a company that really hasn't even started yet,
Right?
And
Yep.
here's going to be the factor: until they start stealing WWE roster members that make an impact in their company, or they get a television deal and appear on weekly TV, not some piece of crap station that TNA's on, a real network, then they'll care. But not till then.
Yeah. So for the Hall of Fame, it looks like, as of this moment, Bam Bam Bigelow will go into the Hall of Fame.
Nice.
He was supposed to go in, as I originally reported, last year in where was WrestleMania last year?
Oh gosh.
New Orleans?
New Orleans? Yes, New Orleans.
Yes, jeez. So he was supposed to go in last year, and he was on the original list to go in. He was pulled, and then they added another wrestler instead. So, but I am told he should be going in this year. In fact, put money on Bam Bam going in this year.
Okay.
So, and then as far as The Rock, there had been some speculation that The Rock would be going into the Hall of Fame potentially. And, from what I've told, that doesn't appear to be the case this year.
So let me ask you this. Why isn't he even in yet? Because he's arguably, one of the biggest stars of all time. Easily top 5. Why isn't he in? Does he just not care? Are they waiting for the right moment? What is it?
Well, I think they want to do more with him first. They obviously would love to have him wrestle, which is going to be really difficult to do because he's got a really busy movie schedule. And, when you're an actor in Hollywood, you've got insurance companies who, these movie companies, they take out insurance policies on you, and you're not allowed to do certain things that may risk, the timing of filming the movie.
Yeah.
So that's a difficult thing. Like, that's why he can't do a full match, but he could come back and do the thing where he just gave Eric Rowan a rock bottom and beat him in 5 seconds. So he's really limited. So I think they want to do more with him first, but it'll happen. It just doesn't sound like at this point it's going to happen this year. I did hear they were going to, quote unquote, reimagine the presentation of the Hall of Fame.
And what does that mean?
Basically, it's getting to be a very small event, which also, is really an indication that The Rock isn't doing it yet because, they're not going to have a very small event for that. So,
hell no, no.
Yeah. WrestleMania 36. I'm not going to give you the location yet.
Because
I can tell you, WWE does not want this getting out yet. They do not. That has been made clear to me. 100%. WrestleMania 36 is in Florida.
Hey, I was right. Told you. Sorry.
And soon enough, I'll have the exact location out. You can obviously imagine there's a few possibilities. And for now, I'll leave it at that.
I wouldn't say a few.
There is a favorite. There is a heavy favorite, brother.
I wouldn't say 2. I would say
a heavy favorite, brother. But I guess we'll be talking about this more soon.
Well, what do you consider a few? More than 3 or more than 2?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's only 3 big cities in Florida. But okay, we'll move on.
That's all the news that I have. I really enjoyed this breaking news segment, and I hope you have too. You never know when I'm going to break news on Twitter. Make sure to follow me at the Brad Shepard. A big week, obviously, going into the Royal Rumble. WWE employees are setting up and preparing for the Rumble now. So definitely stay tuned to my Twitter.
I wonder how the setup is going to be like, because I know when Global Force Wrestling did their stadium tour, the camera angles looked like garbage. So I really want to know how they're going to do it. Like, where's the ring going to be? At home plate? At the pitcher's mound? At center field? Like,
Gosh, I did see a picture of the design.
how are they going to do
the
that?
staging's going to be a little different than usual.
I mean, clearly it's going to be, but I mean, my question is like, whenever, like for hockey, right? When they do their, or even football, when they do their, oh, it's more hockey. When they do their outdoor games, it's very clear, like they have it set, and the rink is gigantic, and it fits on a baseball field or a football field, so it's very easy to put together where it's going to go. But for a wrestling event, that becomes really confusing. I hope they don't screw it up. I I hope it doesn't look bad aesthetically, because then it just kind of ruins the the whole show.
Yeah. That should be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, before we go, and we'll do it really, really quickly. You want to talk about Riverdale, the best show on television, real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about Riverdale.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen the last week's episode, which would have aired on the, let's see, the 16th, mute it for now for the next like minute or so. Archie seemed to die of a bear attack at the end while hallucinating his trials and tribulations through his near death experience. I liked it. They can't kill him from a bear attack. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I mean, you know, how did Archie die? He was mauled by a bear.
It's stupid. He has no closure with anyone.
Yeah, I don't think they can kill him. I hope they don't. Obviously, just because he's such a key character, a main character to the show itself. So I wouldn't want to see it for that reason alone. But it's also kind of like such a random way to die. Like,
Yeah.
even if they were going to do it, like, wouldn't you think it would be more intertwined with characters in the story they're telling rather than some random bear attack?
Yeah, like I could see like in the second to last episode in the series, he tries to go on a conquest and kill Hiram, but then he dies. Hiram like puts a hit on him and he dies. But in the very last episode, they finally take Hiram down in honor of him.
Yeah. Not good.
Yeah,
Could be.
I could be a writer for television in Hollywood.
Yeah, it could be.
I'd book all the short actors, which plays to my favor because most actors are very short.
That's true. You could even be kind of like tall.
I could be kind of like tall. Tom Cruise is only 5'6".
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I'm taller than Tom Cruise.
Yeah. I mean, and Sylvester Stallone is similar to your height.
Is he really?
Yeah, they're all short.
Kevin Hart's 4'3".
Yeah, at least.
Rock picks him up. And he fits in Rock's hand. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see a side by side between Andre the Giant and Kevin Hart. I feel like that'd be amazing.
That actually would be. I think that would be very cool to see. Maybe a hand comparison too.
I bet it's the size of his torso.
Like I honestly wonder. Like, Andre probably did take bigger craps than Kevin Hart.
Fantasy book, Baron Corbin versus The Rock at WrestleMania.
Oh gosh,
that'd
be like,
and I'm not done. Rock goes for the rock bottom. It's a reversal. Rock comes back off the ropes, checks him. He falls down on his back. He goes for the most electrifying elbow. Corbin stands up like in The Matrix, right into the end of days. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
30-second match.
That that may be too long. We may need to go 20. Man, that would be, like maybe the greatest match in WrestleMania history. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm a Hulk and Andre guy. Like, that's my favorite match of all time. But I'm fond of it. But if they put Baron over in 20 seconds on The Rock, I may have a new favorite.
Okay, we'll work until I don't want to torture anyone else. Okay, you can find me on Twitter at John Fisher TV. Where can we find you on Twitter?
At the Brad Shepard. Stay tuned for all my opinions and wrestling news.
Yes, you can also follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud if you want to listen to us. Rate us 5 stars and give us a review on iTunes. It really helps us out. We appreciate it. We got another one, and I think that select individual deserves a shout out. Real quick, if you bear with me while our outro music's playing. I hope I edit it properly.
Yeah, Ricardo, who is a listener
Yes,
of the
that's
show, rated us 5 stars. Thank you, Ricardo. We appreciate your support, and we wish that more people would do the same. So, we're not quite on 112 platforms yet, but we're certainly getting there.
We're going to get fired up, certainly, just off the air because that's where it's more entertaining.
Yeah.
Anything else to say before we go?
No. Looking forward to this weekend. Got a big weekend. Royal Rumble. NXT, right?
Yeah.
NXT.
Yeah. Tweet at us your predictions. You heard the platforms. Get at it. We'll see you all next week.